Preview. Preview.
Woo! Yes. Let's begin chapter 1 of the Hacker High School 2021, Hacker High School 13. Beginning off, we're going to start off with the first vulnerability. So when you have a computer system, so we have a person who owns a computer system. So now between this person and the computer system, each of them have a vulnerability. So for me to take you down, I don't need your machine, I might need you too. So with you as a human being, you can have vulnerabilities of your own. A famous guy once said, and that guy being Ken Underhill said, there is no patch for human stupidity. If you can manipulate human stupidity, you can do anything. So vulnerability number 1 in social engineering is the lock picking. So basically, if you have a corporate company that keep their records in hard copy in a very secure place, you might want to find a way to get into that secure place, and that may include lockpicking, and that will need you to have a social engineering lockpicking set, which is this one on the screen, which includes a number of bobby pins as well as a see-through lock just for practice. But the same thing happens on the field. So that has the bobby pin, which has a number of grills that can go through a number of key types. Okay, so lock picking, basically you can simulate something like this. A corporate company keeps their employee data within hard copies, and they keep it in a safe. As much as they keep it in a safe, there is a lock on that safe. So basically, if you pick the lock, then you have access to everyone's financial records, banking details, all the employees. So basically, if you were to be safe from that, you need to know where your information is stored, what is stored, and is it safe 24/7. Okay, and then vulnerability number 2 when it comes to social engineering is basically your fucking face and your hands. Basically, when someone says something, the body speaks first before the mouth can utter out the words. For instance, when you're chatting with someone and you ask them a very touching question that is difficult to answer, and if there's a very large delay, you might think that, hey, maybe they are wasting some time, or they got busy, or they are thinking or cooking up a lie. Of which, if you're a guy who's into social engineering like me, you will try to think, hey, maybe they are cooking up a lie. So in the social engineering world, if you enter a clinic, for instance, you enter a clinic and you want to visit a specific person, and you are told you are not allowed to visit this person, but you want to take your chances and you want to visit this person. So you go to the lady at the reception and you find her in a bad mood. So what do? Basically, the pattern says she said. So as a social engineer, you will make it she said, she is happy. And then as much as she's happy, you'll be like, hey, look, I made your day, okay? So now I need you to also make a favor for me. I have a friend of mine, he's in a bad situation. Now look, at that point in time, it's not even your friend. So you're just gonna tell her, hey, look, I made your day, you were in a bad place, here's my number and stuff. But anyways, room 456, there's a friend of mine, I need to see him. Can I go? Where is it? Now it is always imperative as well to ask, where is it? Confused people do not exactly seem like criminals to me. For instance, if a guy robbed a bank and he pops up out of somewhere and starts asking for directions, so you can actually think, hey, he never robbed a bank. I mean, he was just a guy who was lost somewhere. So it doesn't exactly reveal that this person robbed the bank. He's asking for directions, isn't it? Because normally, if you were to rob a bank, you want to get out of that place as fast as possible. But then after robbing a bank and you stay in that place, they wouldn't want to care too much about those within that area. That's another social engineering technique. So number 1, you'd want to establish your situation. Number 2, you'd want to read the emotions. Number 3, you'd want to read the delay in speech. Number 4, you need to read the patterns within the eye. Number 5, you need to read the hand gestures. Number 6, you need to read the toes and the feet. So it's very much the language that people have, as much as you are able to generate a baseline and compare it to the change within the pattern of facial and body expressions. So that is micro expressions. Then up next we have dumpster diving. Whatever is in your dustbin has a lot to tell about you. Yes, you heard me right, your dustbin. If you have vegetables, you are a vegetarian. If you have a lot of meat that was rotting, you're probably a butcher who stole meat from the shop and you couldn't finish the meat on time. That one is a joke. I'm lying to you. There's no way that's possible. But as much as your dustbin can tell a lot, for instance, if one person owned a company and he dealt with the financials of his company, that includes paying his employees and etc. So basically he would have his employees' banking records in hard copy, and if he's a lazy person, give or take, if he's a lazy person, he would not shred the papers. He'll basically just curl them up into a ball and throw it into his dustbin, and then early in the morning he'll just take it and leave the trash outside. So the smart guys like us who wanna take advantage of you, basically what we will do is take the whole plastic bag and get it home, and then we'll get searching. And just as much as everything has not been torn apart, we don't even need to reconstruct it. We have all the employee data. So this one is not exactly a tip for the workers, it's the tip for the employers. Have a nice paper shredder, or just put your hands to good use and tear up those papers, no matter how useful or useless it may sound. That includes receipts from purchases. Even if you bought peanut butter, even if you bought peanut butter, just tear it up. There's a lot we can tell from a piece of paper. For instance, the timestamp on the receipt. The timestamp on the receipt will basically tell what time you were at the store. Now it's just a matter of me going to the store and going to the right cashier and using her to my advantage, because the POS system makes sure that it stores each and every record of all purchases made, and as much as I get the record of the purchases made, I'll be able to know which card you used just by her giving me the data. So honestly speaking, you can't trust anybody in the world of the cyberspace. That's how deep it gets. So this is as much as it gets. So now on the other painful one is phishing. Yes, phishing. Now relax, I'm not talking about food, I'm not talking about fish. When I'm talking about phishing, I'm talking about phishing with a P. Now phishing is basically creating a legitimate website that looks like the real one, and you're basically making it to look like the real one so that unsuspecting victims can actually visit this website. And as much as they visit this website, they'll believe that it is real. So they may log in, and then as soon as they log in, whoop, the attacker receives the real credentials of this person. And that may happen within a network or even in the wide area network, for instance. So if I'm in the same network with you, you're on your phone, we're in the same Wi-Fi hotspot, and then somehow I figure out that you want to visit Google, or let's just say you want to visit your bank account soon, and I somehow know which bank account you're using. So basically I'm just gonna quickly cook up a storm and create a fake website, and then I'm gonna set up that website to forward to your phone. So if you may type bankofwhatever.co.za or .com, as soon as you hit load, it will show you that it's visiting that bankofwhatever.co.za, but it will seem it's real. But instead, as soon as you hit the login button after entering everything, it will forward the details to me before it forwards it to the real server. So that is a very big one. So my number one tip is, if you are dealing with financials or you are dealing with login credentials, you do not do them on a public Wi-Fi network or public network. That includes things such as libraries, internet cafes, Wi-Fi, public hotspots, and etc. So you need to have something like that into account. And one other quick tip is, if you're using a PC like me, you're mostly going to be safe if you are using a anti-phishing plug-in. Basically what it does is look at the layout of the website you're visiting, and then it will check within Google's records for the correct address, and then it will see whether it matches with the record and the one you're visiting. If it ain't, it's going to take you to the correct one. If it kinda seems fishy, well then it's gonna tell you, hey choke, look buddy, you're at the wrong place, let me take you to the right one. So that one is another thing to look into. But unfortunately for mobile phone users, Android, iPhone, and the other fake operating systems, yes, the fake operating systems, it does not work out. Those browsers we have, they do not exactly have the ability to install plugins, so you cannot exactly extend the functionalities of your browser. But anyways, that is phishing. Then next we have vishing. Yes, vishing. It does not sound any familiar, but it kind of sounds similar to phishing. Now this starts off with messages that seem legitimate. So basically this is like spamming. You receive an email that seems real. It can lead you to a phishing website, or it can actually make you open a file which can lead to it being a malware or a Trojan horse. For those who don't know what Trojan horses are, just stick around. There's an episode on malware coming soon. So as much as we go through that, you actually need to make sure that if you receive an email, you need to check the person who actually sent it and check the address. If you expect it to be from a bank, you expect the email domain to be from the bank. But then food for thought for those using things such as Gmail, Outlook, Proton Mail like me, basically you don't even have to worry about receiving such spamming messages because they actually land in your spam box. So basically they'll never even reach your inbox. So if you want, you can actually send an email to your email provider and say thank you if you want to. I won't do that. They should just do their job anyway. But anyways, that is vishing. Then up next we have the social engineering exploitation frameworks. That's basically having a file that may look legitimate. Basically, let's just say there's a school. This school, they deal with the district that deals with the Department of Education, something like that. So if I were to send these people an email about me selling pizza, they wouldn't be interested as much. But if I send them and say I am a representative of the Department of Education, then they will treat my email as high priority. And then in the attachment, I can actually put a nice little file. And that little file, as soon as they open it, I have access to the entire system and then eventually to the entire network, and then I can have them at my mercy. So basically, as I said, when it comes to emails, you should just make sure you check where is it coming from. Alright, now as much as you check where it is coming from, sometimes they can actually make it to seem like it's coming from the correct place. For instance, you're expecting an email coming from google.com, but then you will receive an email coming from google.it. So you might see the word Google and you'll think that's the right one, but then it's not google.com, sweetheart, it's google.it. It may seem legitimate, it may have the right logo, and trust me, like I said, there is no patch for human stupidity. Your stupidity will tell you it's real, but then your stupidity will lead you to the grave. So as much as you wanna have this information they tell you to be true, stop imagining how it will be to have it to being true and focus on the safeties. Okay, so you will have most of this coming up in the poster at the end of this campaign, which will basically sum up all the social engineering vulnerabilities that people may have that may be exploited. That excludes the reading of macro expressions. So basically it's all going to be all in one poster. I will sum it all up into one poster. You'll have it, memorize it, and become a tech genius just like the Techno Kid. Now thanks for listening up to this wonderful episode, which I hope that it is. So remember, stay smart, stay safe, and trust the Techno Kid. Peace.